welcome to another episode of Goa 365 Story Behind the Story. Now this is a special, as you say, an episode about the budget, the pre-budget as we have every year, as we have it, and to discuss a sort of a wish list or what industry needs. I have a very senior distinguished panel here with us, starting with Rohan Bab Bandare, Chairman, GCCI Taxation Committee. Rohan Bab, welcome to our show. Chandrakant Bab Gawas, first time here in the studio, Chairman of the GCCI Logistics Committee. Welcome, Chandrakant Bab. Anirudh Bab Dempo, the President of GSI. Welcome to our show. My good friend Sanjay Bab Amankar, the, what do you call it, the DG of GCCI, as he says, the administrative Khambo of GCCI. Sanjay Bab, welcome to our show. And last but not the least, very senior educationist, Ramdas Bab Kelekar. Ramdas Bab, welcome to our show. Rohan Bab, sanga ata, what is it? At this time of the year we meet and then we expect lots of things. Things happen, things don't happen. That we have to see. But give us a general overview, Rohan Bab.
Sure. At the outset, let me congratulate you, Glenn Bob. You have been doing this kind of a series for successive years where you dissect each and every sector, their demands and their kind of sectoral suggestions. And then you do a pre-budget as well as a post-budget of both the Union and the Goa. So hats off and kudos to your team for this. As far as the budget is concerned, you know, making a budget, I think, is more like making a diet plan at the start of the year. We will put our mind and soul to it. We will start making a lot of a good kind of listing of suggestions. But the whole idea is to see that, you know, we are able to stick to these kind of suggestions and see that they are implemented in a proper manner, and we see that there is no kind of a consumption which goes out of line, so that the budget does not get affected. To give you an overview of the budget, let me just give you a few figures first. Total budget for last year was around 26,000 crores. There was a revenue surplus of 670 crores, which is good, and I expect that this will increase this time. The fiscal deficit was around 4,000 crores, which would mean that is the amount that the government has to borrow. So this is a figure I believe for the current year will be, you know, looked at very, very closely, because the Finance Commission also has recommended a certain percentage of 3.5%, above which the fiscal deficit should not go. So this is something which I expect would be curbed for this thing. As far as revenues are concerned, this time the demand from the industry this time has been, you know, that there should not be any new taxes or any increase in any existing taxes. The revenues this time, although are not really in the because of the GST which is already there, there is hardly any kind of tweaking that you can do. But if you see the kind of collections which are happening of more than 1 lakh crore per month at a national level, Goa has also been benefiting very, very strongly in that kind of a manner. So our GST collections are very, very good. We have also been seeing that, you know, the GST compensation is again yet to be claimed by the Goa government. So Madam Nirmala Sitharaman had come on the floor of the House at the Rajya Sabha, and she had said that Goa has to still give certain certificates to claim that compensation. So if this compensation can be claimed from 2017-18 onwards, then this is again going to be a substantial money that the government will get. There is also a one-time settlement scheme which has already started, and the last day to apply will be in March. So this money also will be coming in. So it's good that, you know, there are some new income streams which are happening, and the government is also doing a lot of revenue. They are trying to plug the revenue leakages as well. So this is going to be quite good that, you know, we'll be able to get some kind of a revenue here. As well as the expectations, as far as the expenditures are concerned, you know, we are already aware of the kind of percentages of the kind of fixed monthly costs which the government has. So we would like to, so we have always suggested that, you know, if these can be rationalized to an extent, because the more you can rationalize this, the more we can have funds for the development of Goa.
Yeah, thanks Rohan Bab. Chandra Bab, logistics is important for Goa. Because we have, I mean, I don't know how developed you can say, but we have a very prominent pharmaceutical thing. We have a good service this, but logistics is something that government has been speaking on a regular basis at all levels. So to me, you can shed some light on this, Chandrakant. What you would want so to take this thing to the next level, so as to say.
Yeah, first of all, तुमका धन्यवाद दिता की हे इंटरॅक्शन तुम्ही घडवून आणल्याबद्दल.
Thank you, sir.
आणि गोवा चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्स अँड इंडस्ट्री आणि बाकीचे सगळे इंडस्ट्री सदांच सरकार आणि इंडस्ट्री हाच्या मदलो जो दुवो आसा म्हणजे इंडस्ट्रीन सरकाराक सजेशन दिले आणि सरकारान ते मान्य केले. फर्स्ट टायम ह्या वर्सा म्हाका एक संदी मेळ्ळी आमच्या प्रेसिडेंटा बरोबर तांकां वचून रिप्रेझेंटेशन दिलें आणि त्या रिप्रेझेंटेशनात आम्ही लॉजिस्टिका खातीर स्पेशली लॉजिस्टिक म्हणा, एग्रीकल्चर म्हणा, एज्युकेशन म्हणा, ऑटोमोबाईल इंडस्ट्री म्हणा, रियल इस्टेट इंडस्ट्री म्हणा, सगळ्यांचे सेपरेट करून जेन्ना दिले त्या वेळाचेर हांव बेसिकली फ्रॉम एन लॉजिस्टिक म्हटल्यार लॉजिस्टिक कशें येता, रोड्स आयल्या, पोर्ट्स आयले, देन इनलँड वॉटरवेज आयलो आनी देन रेल्वे आयल्या. ह्या सगळ्यांचे धरून आमी सरकाराक फॉर एक्झाम्पल कनेक्टिविटी म्हणून 37 years ओल्ड बोरींग ब्रिज तो तुम्ही न्यू कन्स्ट्रक्ट करा सो दॅट इट विल बी बेटर फॉर द पीपल. देन परवरी तुम्ही पळयल्यात कितले कंजेशन जाता येता आसतना ते पासून फ्लायओव्हर करपाचे गोवा चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्सान सजेस्ट केल्या. देन वेर्ना इंडस्ट्रियल इस्टेट देर आर द कंजेशन आणि इट इज ऑलरेडी दिस फर्स्ट टाइम चीफ मिनिस्टरान सगळे पॉइंट्स ऐकून घेतले आणि ही सेड दॅट येस ऑल दोज पॉइंट्स वी आर गोइंग टू इम्प्लिमेंट कमिंग बजेट. प्रत्येक लास्ट इयर तसेच घेतले, ह्या वर्सा तसेच घेतले. सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ लॉजिस्टिक रेल्वे तसेच, रेल्वे कनेक्टिविटी फॉर एक्झाम्पल आय एम फ्रॉम मार्मुगांव तालुका, so there was one problem for transportation. So railway current we have requested to construct the additional bridge. So immediately sanction down त्यांचे काम चालू झाले. So there are connectivity at the part of, and good to know that central government also is the same government and this government here is also same government. So आम्ही जे इंडस्ट्री सांगता, बाकी इंडस्ट्री सांगता, that we have proposed in terms of logistic. Everything whatever we have given it, he has assured us that this will be included in this coming budget and basically implemented.
Thanks Anand. Anirudh, industry is ultimately money. Everything runs on money, and industry is something that generates it. So what is your sort of wish, general, what you have to talk on that?
Yes, so thank you Glenn, thank you for having me. I represent GSI, which is a body of all MSMEs in Goa, mainly with a manufacturing focus. So we have more than 500 members. A large percentage of our members are part of the Industrial Development Corporation under the IDC sheds, but that is not mandatory. But most MSMEs have over the years taken shelter in the IDCs. We were reviewing what the budget for industries was last year to really figure out what expectations are there of industry and what should be done for industry. So as Rohan correctly said, 28,000-30,000 crores is our total kitty. Last year I believe the spend allocation for industries was 28 crores. Okay, a large part of this will probably be administrative for salaries and other administrative. So as such, industry is a self-propelled kind of unit. And if you see the spends, so spend is nominal, you can count them on your fingers, and employment is reasonably high. I would put my money, during COVID our estimates were over 1 lakh, but at the very minimum in the lakhs is the employment that's created. Gainful employment, good quality employment, very often stable employment because of the nature of industry, because it is there. And pollution is also not, some few complaints here and there, it's not a large concern as far as the size goes. I think as per the government survey itself, 30 to 40% of the economy runs on the secondary economy, which is your manufacturing, so to speak. So primary is agriculture and mining and all of that, secondary, and then services, which is third. So manufacturing forms a fairly large chunk, and the spend that government needs to do really is very less. But the growth in manufacturing is not there. Why is it not there is that since the time of GST, India has become one market, which means earlier we were all cocooned. We had a natural barrier of GST. As our commerce minister once said, GST was a free trade agreement with ourselves. We are talking free trade with this country, that country. GST was a free trade with ourselves. Now we can do business across borders. Now that we can do business across borders, survival is of the fittest. And sadly, Goa is not the fittest as far as industrial environment goes. Are we really bad? Probably not. But are we in the best? Certainly not. So, so what can we? The things we want actually doesn't cost money. You know, a good environment to work. Our departments are at times over saturated, which means that there are more hurdles. You know, there's a management principle of lead, follow, or get out of the way, right? So you either lead, you either follow somebody, or you move out of the way. Often there is so much in the way that it causes, you know, files get lost. So we had a one-page request to the government this year, and you know, we use ease of doing business as the word, and ease of doing business starts at a single window where you can interact. But that's only the front of ease of doing this. The back end also should be equally equally strong, right? So if you फक्त खड्डा बांधला घर म्हणून जाल्यार जायना, फाटल्या साइडीन actually घर आसपाक जाय, right? So if I'm going to upload and they're going to print and they're going to pass the file, you know, the word red tapeism comes from the red tape that is tied around files. So literally we all have those red tapes around files, right? So if we can eliminate the files, we can have a better environment for not just the existing industry but new industry to come. Again, not that it is not happening, but it is not probably happening at a fast enough pace. And if the government can go in for e-office, which is a centrally mandated thing, the entire module is there. The cost will be a few tens of crores, not breaking the bank kind of numbers. Then we would have more efficient industry, more income, and then the next step would be to spend on everything else. So I would think that the first step is to work on making the government systems efficient, which is almost 30% of the cost any which way. So, you know, that would be our hope and recommendation, you know.
Not only cost, also time, because so much of time is wasted in doing this sort of.
Absolutely.
A lot of time is wasted.
The output efficiency per person with good systems and having to do it manually cannot be compared. So, you know, that is our hope.
Sanjay Bab, few things that Anirudh Bab spoke about, these obstacles and these infrastructure for people to come in. I think one you can talk about with a little bit of authority, that is power.
Correct.
Because we have like seamless power, our power never fails, right? Electricity is there 24/7, one. And second thing is internet also. That is another thing which is also very seamless. So I don't know, maybe you can give us some clarity on this.
First of all, thank you for having me, Glenn Bob. The power scenario what you have described, is it in some locations only. Overall it is not that
You're
what you are saying. So there are issues, especially issues are in the tourism belt in the peak hours between 6 to 11. There are a lot of
That's because of the load.
Yes, the load goes up heavily. We require around 150 megawatts of power during that period. Now the total power requirement of Goa is around 700 megawatts. Okay, and our total losses are between 10 to 12%. So you're losing that much of power.
Losses means transmission losses.
Transmission
Only
and
10 to
distribution
12%?
10 to 12%.
Only 10
It's
to
high
12%?
actually. It's high.
But in Goa I think it's much higher.
In Goa it's 10 to 12%. That's what has been declared by the department. So we have to go by the figures given by the department. There are ways and means to cut down on these losses, which we have represented in our budget this time. The ways, and there was a JER hearing, if you are, it was there last week, and we had given a representation. They have proposed a hike of around 10% for domestic, and for industrial it can go up to 14% depending on things. So what we have told them that if you cut down on these losses, and we have given them solutions also, you need not increase to such an extent. If you see the history, never has been such a high increase happened. It was on 3 to 4%, but 10% is quite stiff, and industries are already talking against it. So 2-3 points is, sir, one is that there were issues other than increase. They had introduced something called a KVH billing earlier. Now KVH billing, they had told us that if you can improve your power factor, your consumptions will come down, but then the contrary, the billing of the industries has gone up with this. So that point is there. Then
installed electronic meters?
Yeah, electronic meters. Not electronic, these are KVH meters. Okay. The pattern of the billing is here. Earlier it was KW metering, now it is KVH metering, or voltage based metering. Okay. Second one was the meters which they have installed, coming back, they are faulty. A lot of faulty meters are being installed. And third was, and very important, is you must have heard of linesmen getting electrocuted.
Yeah, infrastructure.
So there are some unsafe conditions existing. So what we had told them is, even the Electrical Act mandates that there should be district level monitoring committees, which will guide the government in doing at least procedural. Like for example, a lineman goes and he says he has to do a job on a particular pole. So there is no proper communication happening. Accidents are taking place because of no communication. Somebody puts it on, this guy is on the pole already, he'll get electrocuted. So this type of thing, if you get people who are experienced, and we do have these people who can guide these people, how you can make some SOPs, standard SOPs can be formed. So that also we have requested the government to look into. So if you see this, then surely I feel that you don't require to increase the rates to that extent, and it will give a relief to the consumers in Goa. So that.
Internet also is an issue in Goa, many places. That also, I mean, like a lot of activism in the state of towers are being, but internet is a major issue because
Yeah,
we cannot get steady internet.
No, you don't get.
And lease lines, you go to Pune and all 15,000-20,000. Here they charge 70,000-80,000, which makes no sense. It doesn't make.
If you see a lot of these small entrepreneurs have mushroomed over the years, and they are using electrical poles to pull their cables. So that was one of the suggestions, that to charge these people.
They charge, now they've gone underneath.
No,
They're charging them
the
1 lakh, but
electricity
still
department
smart
should
city
charge
only
them.
Breaking the we know we suffer this almost every second.
That was one of the, that electricity department should charge them for using their poles and infrastructure. So that was one of the.
But that internet is an issue for industry.
It is an issue. It is an issue.
That's what I wanted to know.
Government
Okay.
has
Yeah, Ramdas Bab, education is one of
Yeah.
like budget every time. It's very important because the government is very sort of the national education policy, no doubt, but also skilling, willing, which all comes under education. So Ramdas Bab, you tell us something about what you would like in this budget and some sort of ensure that it happens.
At the outset, let me thank you, Glenn Bob, for inviting me. Although I am
My
not,
pleasure.
I'm not fit in the panel, but anyway.
Education fits in any panel.
Yeah, it is so. But figure I will not cite because my earlier panelist, he has already highlighted. What I feel, when I go for a lecture, there is a demand for guidance for competitive exam, which is neglected area. And this can be done, even GPSC exam, there was a 0% result. The reason was there was no proper guidance. If the guidance is given, it is not difficult for any student because our literary percentage is almost 88%. So that way we are smart. But, this can be done through Education Development Corporation, which is existing. But right now, it does only loaning business, hand over the loans.
Okay.
But beside this, if this type of task is given to corporation, I think government will do major work. Because in last budget, government did not levy any tax, if I am not mistaken. Okay, so this time also there won't be any tax because election is around the corner.
Okay.
And secondly, the voter should not be hurt. That is the principle. And Parrikar, of course, I have to mention him because he was holding the education portfolio. Similarly, our present CM is also holding education portfolio. What I feel, I don't want to criticize, but there are many posts which are not filled.
Where? In the education department?
Education department,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And even SCRT, because of late, CM has declared that coding and robotics will be for
Yeah.
10th
From 8th standard,
also.
from 8th I think, no? Yes.
It is already there for 8.
Okay.
But 9 and 10, it will come under purview of Goa board.
I see, okay. That is would
So
be nice.
first time. So certainly there will be allocation for this because without money, it is not possible to run the show.
But education per se needs more money, you feel, because national education policy
Because
has to be implemented. See, it's okay to skilling. He's talking about skilling. Swayambhurna is there, but skilling is important, no? Right?
It is layman's logic that unless you have money, you won't be able to run the show. But ITI, they have introduced skill-based programs. And say robotic and coding, it's more profitable, and you need not rely only on government jobs. You can become Atmanirbhar. That is possible. Because many a time the need of the hour was job. Practically most of the youth, they prefer job.
Will be government job.
GOVT will be better. Government job will be better. But to generate these jobs, we have to depend on entrepreneurs.
Okay, thanks.
So it's a vicious circle.
Thanks, Ramdas. Now, I would like to bring this little off topic, but Rohan Babu, you give us your this on this government job fixation in Goa and India. What is this? What exactly is it? Why is this fixation? Because like you guys are industry here, and an education is in government jobs, Munche. Yeah, fixation. I think it is. No,
Absolutely.
People I know, people they sell gold, take loans, and whatever.
It's a very rational fixation. No?
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, if the choice was between a job for life with 100% surety and growth, with not much accountability, at least at the security, especially at so the government typically is top light, bottom heavy, right? So that's where most of the posts are. So why wouldn't you? I mean, if I were to put myself in the shoes of someone wanting that,
no, but that is an issue, right? That's an issue that we spoke about just in your opening statement.
Right. So it should be done in such a way that it's off the table. The option itself is off the table. Only then. And this term that we use, vacancy of posts, I think we need a review of, first of all, is the post required or not? You know, like in IDC we have this concept of a pump operator. Now today all pumps are smart pumps and controlled by a button. So if you tell me so many posts are vacant for that, it would not make sense. So we need a review of what a post is required and maybe cross using of already available manpower, and we'll know that we are kind of. But yeah, the fixation is not.
Why? My point is why? How stable is a government job? You are at the beck and call of whoever. Call SI. How is this a step? I am just little bit 2 minutes I am taking off this because I am very confused. Yes, sir.
The question was
actually was for you, but I think not hijacked. But anyway, no problem. Yeah.
Mentality.
Sir,
mentality of the people have been made like that. That government jobs, it's not for revolution. For less work it is.
Here is his view.
We get a live response from the students. I said
no, when you have been a principal and you have been in education, you have been in so many of these education boards and everything. So what is this what the students are looking for?
See, if there is less work, it will be human tendency to go for that.
Okay. Anyway, I am a little loss of words at this, but see, I need to go in for a small break, and we'll come back on the other side. Thanks a lot, guys. Sorry about the diversion a little bit, but it was very interesting. Keep watching Goa 365. Hello and welcome to this second part of this episode, Story Behind the Story, on the budget. Now with us are our guests, Rohan Bab Bandare, Chandrakant Bab Gawas, Anirudh Bab Dempo, Sanjay Bab Amonkar and Ramdas Bab Kelikar. Now just before the break we were talking about government jobs, which is actually not the topic of discussion for this, but it was very interesting, so I let it go. But Rohan Bab, now I want you to get into the actual taxation part, and the GCI also had gone up to the CM and Also, last time we were just talking, in fact, I wanted Sanjay. Last time also when we had this discussion and the list that we gave, I think most of it was accepted. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've had a fantastic experience here because the kind of pre-budget memorandum that we had given last year, many of our suggestions were taken. One of them was was very, very important for the industry, for the manufacturing industry. That was the piped natural gas. The rate was almost 13% because it's under Goa VAT, and all the other states our neighboring states had much lesser kind of a rate. So this is what we had proposed at that point of time. That was really accepted. Second one was again more for the tourism industry, where there is to be a renewal of the VAT every 3 years. So that was taken away. So it's become more ease of doing a kind of a business in the tourism industry now. We had also put up certain things of the liquor rates, so that the excise duties could be tweaked, if you remember, so that there is this concept of BYOB, bring your own bottle. So you used to always have this thing that there is not that much consumption which is happening in Goa. So now with the kind of excise duty rates, again, I think this has really helped the kind of the industry here. I'll just have one of the suggestions that we had given was again relating to what Anirudh Bab had said about digitalization.
Today?
Yeah, for this thing.
Yeah.
And we are also looking at it because digitalization will not also help the industry, it's also helping the government. There are so many central government schemes, especially because of the 15th Finance Commission which was there, which have given you incentives to digitalize. So even your accounting, if you go in for your double entry accounting for your urban local bodies, you start getting more funds. So it's also in the interest of the government to go ahead and give this kind of to go ahead for digitalization. As far as the other taxation kind of amendments which we had given, was very peculiar. So as you know, each tax law has got a certain threshold. For VAT, they have removed that threshold, and they removed it in the middle of the year. So what happens is, for a very, very small liquor dealer who may just be in a few lakhs kind of a turnover, he is not even aware that he has to pay that kind of a tax. So now that once you remove the threshold, there is a big tax which comes into the picture. There is an interest and a penalty which comes into the picture. So this is what GCCI had recommended, that either you bring some kind of a small threshold, or try to at least extend that kind of a law further, this thing. So this was more a little bit more on the kind of taxation front. Another aspect which was there was relating to discounts discounts relating to liquor, okay, which were being taxed, and these are cases now which have even gone more to the appellate level or higher level. So I think government has to step in and see in case any of these laws require any kind of an amendment.
Another thing, Rohan, what I was saying is that now the economy needs money, right? Now you guys are industry. I'm slightly shifting the topic. Now you all of you all are industry, except Ramdas. We are salaried people. Ultimately, you all can do so much. This is something also I spoke to Sanjay Babu in the earlier episode. You all can have so many, transportation, but as a salaried person, we need more money. How are we going to? How is the economy going to grow? That is some point, like something like you think at least should help us. The government should actively look at in the national and maybe in the local budget also.
So as far as the union budget, this is a kind of a suggestion we had given, so that there has to be, because now as you are aware, earlier we still have two schemes, a old scheme and new scheme, but now the government has already given a kind of an intent as good as
it's going to close the old scheme.
And they prefer the new scheme, so they are giving all the incentives to the new scheme. So what we have said is, as far as salaried people, there is already first there was no standard deduction, so we had given a recommendation for standard deduction that has been implemented. 50. Now what we have said is, can we try to increase that? So either you have a maximum limit or a percentage of the salary, whichever is lower, so that because there are, as you are saying, there are so many kind of expenditure which a salaried person has to do, and he is not able to, and then he still has to pay the tax at a very kind of high rate. So if this kind of a standard deduction is given for the for the taxpayers, I think this is really going to be a real blessing for them. So this time it's going to be an interim budget. It may be a vote of account, but then if these kind of small tweaks could happen, if some small suggestions could be incorporated, I think the Goan public especially is going to be very, very happy.
Yeah, because as Ramdas was saying, government jobs, it's all salaried people. So no, now transportation, say for example transportation, lots of these industry can claim for. But as a salaried person, you cannot. Any which way you have to move, you have to move around, you have to pay rent, you have to pay electricity bills, whatever, entertainment is there. So all those things, also salaried person should get a little bit of.
Not only that, today salaried person is spending money
Yes.
to educate himself. See,
Okay.
today they are going for
Education,
courses.
correct, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so because I know, because for Goa Chamber we are holding a GST course which will be there now for the next 4 Saturdays.
Okay.
People are going on their own and they are registering for that GST course because they want to upgrade themselves.
Okay.
In this kind of this thing, these are costs, but these are costs which will not get a deduction
Exactly,
for. Now
that's
what
what I'm
government is saying, government also is right in their way. What they are saying is, they are saying, see, you will have so many different types of deductions. You will have travel, you will have children education, you will have tuition, you will have LIC, you will have mediclaim. So many things. How is government going to track? So the whole suggestion was, you give a standard deduction. You know that there is going to be an X amount of kharcha which you are supposed to be doing. You give a standard deduction. The person also is going to be happy. And the kind of rates which are there right now, the rates which have been kept are very, very small, in the sense of 5%, 10%, 15%. These can again be rationalized so that a little bit of a higher threshold can be kept. This actually solves the entire problem, and the salaried person will have much more money in hand, and this money is anyway used in the consumption.
Exactly,
and for the
economy goes
yes,
up.
absolutely.
That's exactly what was my point. Chandrakan, logistics, as you said, you just touched on it in the previous, that logistics we need only for whether you have a factory. Now, for example, or whether you have you're bringing in the raw materials, you're bringing X, you're bringing Y. If that transportation, if that logistic doesn't, we have a port, which I don't know how much we use, because I think that it's always a problem with logistics in the state. Roads are being done, the highway is there, center is putting a lot of money. But what do you need? And what you need for, also we want industries, but we don't want polluting, we don't want red industries. We want IT and different types of industries. So that logistics would help, but it is not at the level that it should be, or it should improve, or what do you need?
Of course, तुम्ही म्हटलं पळय, see, first of all, economy revenue असलो जाल्यारच development आसा.
Correct.
Revenue असलो जाल्यारच you can give something to the worker who are there, or government servant. You tell me now, all are aware of it. 2012 to till now, 2011 to till now, 12 years, mining industry, which was given the major revenue to the government, is stopped.
Correct. Absolutely.
There were 300 to 400 barges. There are 25,000 trucks. There were machinery. So much so infrastructure. सगळे त्रासात पडले.
धाकटे शॉपा
there were many. सगळे त्रासात पडले. And on the contrary, see, I am telling you, the government itself, who were having the major revenue for development, for another, has gone down. For no cause of, see, लोकांची काय mistake नाशिली. I, as a barge owner, I can tell you that we were not doing illegal business. We were purely on the legal. भरता बार्जीनी वरता खाली करता वतात न्ही अशें जालें. But yes, now today after 12 years, if you see, because regularly we are taking a review in our logistic committee. For example, port need an infrastructure. We were 4-5 years before we were started this container movement at berth number 9 at MPA, Marmugao ports. Now it has become MPA, and now that is absolutely they have stopped because of the Conquer has started Bali, the container movement. Verna also they are shifting from there, and so we have requested government, since there is a congestion of road, that road from up to the Kankona, from Bali to Kankona, to just broaden that road also. So then in the Marmugao port, you say that there is no infrastructure.
No, I'm asking, is there enough?
Enough. See, I am telling you, for example, to load, berth number 9 is there. In the midstream there are the transshipper. Then they have put then mooring dolphins.
Why is not happening?
It is happening. There is no after the mining stop. And now then they have recent development. You see that pharmaceutical companies we have tried for last 10 years. They are not going to come here to Goa, and they don't have to do their business from Goa. They go straightway to JNPT, Mumbai, and they from there. But even railway, See, from Karnataka there is no ban on iron ore. Karnataka, it comes by railway to Marmugao port,
Yeah, it
then
comes
also
to-
Pune.
correct.
But I am telling you this all through you. I am going to tell to the people that yes, हांगा जर सरकार करपाक सोदता जाल्यार तातूंत कितलेशे हडल्स येता पळय, बंद करता, हे करतात.
You are talking about double tracking.
Not double tracking, everything. You say now the Kale, there was a dump. I know there was a dump Kale. You recently, you know what has happened. They are stopped. Mining, legal mining people, we all are requested, industry stakeholders are requested to start the legal. Government has taken step as the guidelines are given by Supreme Court to start, and they have started.
Correct.
Again the problem. So if there are problems, how we can run?
आणि आता ते ओव्हर डंप ऑप्शन्स
Dump
आसा
policy,
पोस्ट
dump
ते
policy.
चालू जातले
ते चालू जातले पण आता चालू केले ताका एनवायरमेंट दिले. तुम्ही पेपराचे बी पळयला कितें कितलेशे ऑब्जेक्शन करपाक सोदतात ते. आणि वन्स यू गो टू द कोर्ट, आय एम नॉट सेईंग नोबडी शूड गो टू द कोर्ट एट ऑल. स्टॉप जाले, धंदो बंद जालो. हांव एक मॅन्युफॅक्चरींग युनिट हांव एक चालू करता आणि सगळे इन्व्हेस्टमेंट जाल्या उपरांत मागीर येवन बंद करता जाल्यार कशें जातलें तें? इट्स नॉट. सो देअरफॉर गव्हर्मेंट इज अदर सायड गव्हर्मेंट. आता तांणी म्हटलें की एज्युकेशन डिपार्टमेंटात जॉब ना. द रिसेंटली एज्युकेशन मिनिस्टर मीन्स हू इज चीफ
CM.
मिनिस्टर हॅज ऑलरेडी डिक्लेअर 40 or 38 D.Ed post teachers already declared. So as late Manohar Parrikar was taking initiative and interest for education, the present chief minister, as you say, is taking interest for that. But government has also helped to these dependent fellows in certain level. But see what happened now today. If you ask me, out of 400 barges, there are 50 barges left out. How you can do?
Barges are in Goa. I thought they had gone to Maharashtra.
No,
गोंयांत कितें धंदो आसा?
ना आसा. आता आसा न्ही चालू, आसा न्ही
थोडे आसा.
सी मायनिंग ना जाल्यार आयर्न ओर ना जाल्यार कोल आसा,
yeah,
कोल
okay.
ना जाल्यार बॉक्सायड आसा,
Okay.
बॉक्सायड ना जाल्यार स्टील आसा,
Okay.
स्टील ना जाल्यार आणि
Very minor level.
very minor level,
Not at
that
the old scale.
not as the before 2012, you know. So we have requested government, whatever where we are. For example, now there was only one airport, Dabolim, which was not taking care of
Freight
import export. But now then we have requested government and the central government. The Mopa airport started. There is also a problem of taxi transportation. This, so we have requested them to take care of that also. There should be a smooth, smooth functioning, smooth foreign tourism industry, and also you are supported. Second thing I am telling you, there are the ferry services, public. People used to, last time you must have been doing that rate, there was a rate increase and all charges. See what we have proposed to the government, yes, give the good ferry services. Single engine ferry aso dale double engine ferry karat. And like in Kerala, tourist people can enjoy, they can enjoy on that tourist. You see, from Penji, if I want to go, and Goa has been gifted by a natural port. If you go from Penjim below to the Sirsai, Kalvi, that side, it's a beautiful place we can see. So we are requested.
One point also, sorry, Bache, just came to my mind. That flyover is going to happen in Porori. That is a headache. It's going to be a headache because the arterial roads na. So that also maybe you should suggest to the government that you have some sort of a ferry service so we can land at Kalangut or Anjuna directly. That will, like this. I'm not asking for a bridge, but at least some sort of a ferry.
Some
proposals also possibly could be put for that because that will make sense because otherwise it's going to be a mess and tourism is ultimate. Whatever anybody might say, it's in North Goa. It's not in South
We
Goa.
have given two representation to our river navigation minister, Mr. Subhash Phaldesai. He is a dynamic, young and
He's very
dynamic and
dynamic, Purple
energetic,
Fest
hardworking. I am telling you. So he is studying it. I never ever seen who can study for anybody is studying for his portfolio. But he has taken a keen interest to develop, because it's a God. Again, I am telling you, God gifted internal roads with the waterways, and people must enjoy with this water transport.
Absolutely. Anirudh Bab, now to bring you on into these waterways also, just now a lot of industry happens, okay, and roads are, it's quite, though we have 3 ways, 5 ways, 6 ways, lot of ways but also these waterways are not being used at all. It used to be, I remember in like if you read history, the horses and all these Arab horses used to come during the time, that time it used to come from the Gulf and all, land in old Goa. That time Goa,
Correct.
the waterways were being used in Goa. But now we seem to be only besides casinos, there's nothing there. Hardly anything which happens on the waterway. Would not it help industry, logistics, transportation and all that? I'm just saying.
Very honestly, I'm not the expert on this,
I
because
know,
there may be a issue of tide and about the draft and things like that, which may be a practical.
But barges used to work full-fledged earlier.
We are given a suggestion also, wherever there is required for a dredging. Yes, for example, I'm just interrupting you.
Yes, no problem.
I'm just giving you an example. Zuari Bridge of it. Zuari Bridge, the ferry crosses from Kortalim to Madkai. I said during a low tide, is the lowest low tide, also ferry cross.
Yes.
But if the barge crossing from a Kortalim to a Banastari channel, they cross that side, the grounds. So we are given a proposal. Yeah, then similarly, after the bridge, if the Santan it's called, there also low tide barges grounding. If you go from Mandavi River, Miramar, there also barges are grounding.
Sandbar
and Kumarzuba, then Pilgaon, then Sarmanas, where the ferry ramps have been constructed. We have requested government to dredge it properly, so that easily there should not be any problem. The draft is suppose 3 meter, the draft should be a 4 meter.
4-5 meters.
4-5 meters. Now similarly in Marmugao port, we have requested them to get a draft from. When the Jaigarh port is doing
exactly.
Why this major?
I was going to ask you at that point to you.
So we are requested. So again, people see, Marina project. Without having anything, again it will be the problem we say. But that
no, I'm not saying anything.
I'm saying that is no. I can say on the August House listening here that yes, that Marina project is non-polluted project. But people say, "Na, humko nuste melpanate matle." See that creation should not be there. But in the water transport, as I'm telling you, people must use the water transport. If I want to go to Panjim, if I go by bus and crossing, if I go to Sakli, from here, I can take my launch.
That's what I'm saying.
But it requires multimodal transport, it requires a RoRo system.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. But what is the thing? The technology is there, no?
Since we were at a budget discussion, sadly, the budget, as Rohan said, is limited in the sense that it only captures the accounting part. Not the planning part.
But proposals also they put in, no?
Yeah.
Proposals are put into the budget.
What I'm trying to get at is, even if the money is kept for it, you can really botch up the project, right? By spending the money. But planning is something one thing that we are lacking in Goa.
Vision.
Roadmap.
We do not consider the interdependencies. So nothing like I'm going to just increase the tax, so it doesn't mean my revenue will go up. People will start spending less, and so there are a lot of interdependencies, right? Similarly, within the government, there are so many every department is dependent on another one, and I'm not aware of too many forums where they come together and they discuss either a grievance redressal or a cross-departmental forum that meets every month and addresses issues. Having said that, when in the absence of, if there was such a well-formed committee that met at a predefined interval, we could go and put forth these proposals and not meet here once in as they come up. So there is no previous this that we are discussing here. So 1 year is too long a gap. This has to happen as an ongoing process where all the departments, especially infrastructure related, are on one.
Or at least just to talk and say, okay, this is an obstacle. See, actually, in fact, at the central level there is.
Yeah.
At the center there is, but possibly states have to also, start taking some.
That we are lacking for sure.
Yeah, I agree, because I agree and disagree in both ways. Because the industry is too busy also making, surviving in the past year. They only want to okay, fine. So possibly some sort of initiative.
No, it requires industry representation.
Yeah, initiatives.
I'm just telling you that Goa Chamber of Commerce is an oldest organization.
Correct.
Okay, and it atut amcha jawal 16 subcommittees asa.
Okay.
16 subcommittees.
Okay.
I am telling you for the viewers also, for the information of the viewers, 16 committees worked under the leadership of the president individually. Here there are two commissions, Taxation Commission and Logistic Committee. I am telling you, every month we are meeting it. Every logistic committee, every month one representation to the department which has required. So we meet. What is said, Anirudh, is exactly the point. All the associations should meet, discuss, and put forward to the government the all strategy. It may be every month, it may be
Whatever, every 2
quarterly
months,
or something, every 2 months.
Yeah.
This should be.
Not just us, on their side also they should be
Yeah,
together.
but I have a point.
Yes, sir.
I have one point. I may be in this right now a little bit of a devil's advocate. We are running out of time, so I'm finishing. Now look at the capital city of Panjim. Now, where is the question of having all committees are there, everything is there. Sorry, Chandrakant, but
No,
every committee is there. But look at this, today one day you go this side, tomorrow you come and that road is blocked. So that sort of that coordination is needed, no? So that sort of coordination is will, public will, and if industry makes a noise, see ultimately for everything to run, you need money.
Yeah.
Government to run, it needs money.
Okay.
And from where government is going to get money? From industry. So if industry pushes, see, industry is diplomats. Most industry are diplomats. So they don't push enough, I feel. Sorry, Sanjay Bab, now you are the DG. You are next. You agree? You agree? Because otherwise,
He makes his life miserable.
yeah, I'm going to make it. See, don't you think that this sort of a coordination the GCCI has already done, because it's tremendous work it has done.
There are 2 points, Radha. One is that we have already put in our budget representation
correct, yes.
that one committee has to be formed. Last time also we had put, consisting of at least 3 organizational members of the main organizations and one single point contact with the government.
Yes.
And we should meet regularly. We in fact told that it should be either a chief secretary or the principal secretary finance. He
Who
should
has
chair-
some actual powers, not to just listen.
And we should meet this each committee of ours, maybe JSI or GCCI or TTAG.
3-4 people committee.
Once a month you meet and you look at what are the issues, and so that becomes better. And he conveys to the CM that these are the matters to be taken up.
And this CM is very proactive
Yeah,
from what
he
I have
is
seen.
proactive.
He listens and he does. Only thing is that, see, yes, sir, so much is happening all over the
Yeah.
place. Not only business, also election is regularly. So possibly, that sort of focus is not there. But if somebody says that, okay, in 1 month, and then says, okay, fine. Kai जाऊ ना? Automatically.
And coming back to smart city also. Yesterday we had one lively discussion.
I'm aware
And
of
the
that.
point came up that they are looking at one central agency with
There is a central
No, with powers, sir. They do not have powers.
Who don't have powers?
That committee which is
That
there.
CEO
No, it is
is
not
there.
controlling other departments. We want somebody who can look after sewerage, PWD, Imagine
So it
City.
is a individual.
Yeah, they work on their own.
That
So there is no
not
control.
doesn't make much sense, no?
So
Not
one
much.
single point who has got control over everybody. Like if you are digging a road, what are the jobs involved? Say 6 agencies. Call 6 of them. Are your materials ready? Are your equipment ready? Then only you dig the road. You don't dig the one fellow completes his job, disappears. Other fellow comes and starts digging. Now that is not
No,
done.
this is, I am giving smart city as an example.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in general.
So when there's project management, it's cross-functional.
Yeah,
that is the problem.
That is
Very,
the problem. I would also just stop one out of forming yet another organization department. All you'll see is it filled. Only these guys, representatives from each of these can come on that board,
so
not
that is the
a
point. So
additional
this was
committee.
suggested to the CM.
because
Let's see what best
We'll
comes out
push
of
for
it.
it, yes.
In fact, as far as taxation is concerned, if you look at GST, there are always these kind of grievances always, and there is no
But
kind of a
GST
forum.
changes every month. GST
No, correct,
changes. Yeah.
correct.
Today this
So-
happened. Falya aane ki tarah it's such a-
So Goa Chamber had written to the CGST office saying that you revive a GST grievance cell, and now a GST grievance cell has been done from the last 2 weeks, and in that all major organizations,
Yes.
JSI is there,
Yes,
ICI is there, GCCI is there, all the heads of the organizations will be there, and this meeting will be held 4 times a year, so that all your grievances can be taken up. In Goa especially, there were lot of issues relating to GST registration and all these things. So these kind of issues are going to be taken up. So the chamber as well as the committees are meeting up, and it's great to have a very nice cross functioning of all the other of all the organizations also who come together so that we can represent very very effectively before the government.
Absolutely. Closing statements. I'm out of time. Starting.
Closing statement, I'll give you a closing number. 58 out of 170, that is the number of the action taken report of the budget proposals 2 years back. So budget proposals are great, but will also require relentless execution, which is just 33% the budget before that. So hopefully there are significant kind of implementations not of the current budget. So this is what.
Closing statement.
Closing, इंडस्ट्रीज बंद आसा ते चालू जावपाक जाय जाल्यारच रेव्हेन्यू येतलो. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, द क्रिएटर प्रॉब्लेम क्रिएटर कोण आसात पळय न्ही इंडस्ट्री स्टार्ट करपाक बंद करपाक आनी कितें करपाक जाल्यार दे शूड कम फॉरवर्ड, हॅव अ डिस्कशन instead of going to play the legal battle. Come forward, sit together. We are there to help. We are there to sit together, sort it out the problem. We can take up to the state level, we can take up to the center level, but amicably sorted out केल्या उपरांत can give a better solution.
Yeah, the same buzzwords we've used, deep rooted ease of doing business through good grievance redressal and cross functional, make the system work. But I mean system खूप शब्द वापरता.
It has to work.
Yeah, make it work, but these are the tools that make it work. Everybody talks to each other, it's lean and it is technology forward. If that happens, मागीर सिस्टम एकदांच चालपाक लागली, धंदो वाडलो, टॅक्स वाडले, लोकांक पयशे चड, so everything will fall in place.
Sanjay Babu.
Actually, Powerachar, I could not give the solution, so I will take a minute.
Okay. You have a solution.
No, one is solutions. Yes, we have provided solutions.
Okay.
First is the equipments which they are using. They should be of good quality. सारखे तांचे checking जावपाक जाय. Second is underground cabling which has been done. The last mile has not been completed in many cases. So
Even sewerage, same problem.
No, it has to be connected. Connections has not happened. Most important, there is one SLDC in Madgaon, that is state level data center. Now all the data of all the power which has been transmitted is available in this center. And this can be utilized not to find out about power thefts or somebody who is using old power. I hate to say this, but people who have got say meters of 300, 3000 watts are drawing 6000, 10,000 watts and paying the same rate which is applicable to the lowest slab. So that is not done. Third is vigilance and checking, which has to be very strict. There is illegal lot of units have come up, and we should be able to forecast our purchase requirements. So this is one of the
Budgeting, basically.
Yeah, per se. And most other important is more focus on the renewable energy, especially solar. So that should happen.
Right.
So if this can bring down the dependence on fossil fuel power, and if we go to renewable, it will be better for us.
Ramdas Bab, your closing statement, I want to put one point of mine also. How do you change mindset from people joining industry and not only going for government jobs?
See, monitoring is essential,
Yeah.
number one. And second thing, from greed, we have to go for need.
The wrong forum to discuss that.
It will take time. It will take time. Just like in Ayodhya, they said Ram Rajya will come. We'll hope that this type of Rajya will come.
How do
Because
you
Gandhiji-
shift focus from people only going for government jobs to
No,
coming
thing
and
is
joining us, industry? We are all
Just
industry.
like our Gao sir said, who are the problem creator? So we
that's
create mentality in them. So it is our responsibility to do away with the mentality.
Okay. Anyway, thanks. Thanks
If I
a
get
lot.
1 minute, no,
Yes,
I just
sure.
wanted to say that, young youth आसात पळय न्ही तांचो मायंडसेट जर चेंज जायत न्ही
That's right.
जाल्यार मायंडसेट
That was the question.
एक्झॅक्टली मायंडसेट चेंज करपाचो युथांनी आनी इन्स्टेड ऑफ गोईंग फॉर गव्हर्मेंट जॉब दे शूड सी दॅट सेल्फ ओरिएंटेड जॉब बिकॉज देर आर लॉट ऑफ स्कीम्स अवेलेबल.
Opportunity is tremendous.
Opportunity is
Today's
tremendous.
world has a tremendous
The
opportunity.
government can also look at some safety nets for
Yes.
Yeah.
these people
Yes.
if they for taking risk.
मागीर तांणी म्हटलें न्ही ते फक्त काम ना म्हणून आमी गव्हर्मेंटा कडेन वता.
No, that's not-
ह्या
I don't know.
न्ही this हो प्रकार मागीर येवपाक ना युथा मदीं.
Okay. One thing, see now, what everybody is saying that okay, X amount of things have been done. Okay, I mean they have been sort of proposals are put. I don't know, whatever wish lists have been put, but it's not being implemented. See, the thing is that we are there. So industry, government talks to us, NGOs talks to us. All these obstacles, as you say, they talk to us on a regular basis. Industry doesn't talk to us. That is one lacuna. In fact, we go to industry. Are Baba.
No.
Now the thing is that I don't know why, whatever the reason is, but industry generally does not talk to us, and we are probably the biggest pushers of how things can be done. This is something. Now, for example, we are people, at least in this place, we are industry oriented, but the other people are not. You know how it is generally, politics and all that. But this meeting of the committees and all, also media should be taken into consideration, and we probably will be able to help in many ways. This, I think some of us who have been on this forum are
Well-taken
aware.
suggestion.
But we are there.
Yes,
In fact,
it's
we want-
required. It's a collective effort.
It is a collective for
but
Goa
no, but
and for
there-
India.
Yeah.
This
But
is
then
what we need.
industry no need of for publicity. Publicity.
Then things
is
don't
a
happen.
content- publicity. Yeah.
See, suppose if your NGO,
Yeah.
who is, as you say, is creating trouble, he thinks media is needed, and he is successful in stopping what you want to do. That means some sort of importance is there. I don't know. I'm saying that
no,
is
no,
a thought.
definitely we will take care of it in future.
And it's important to get the facts out
Correct.
rather than
Yes.
simply driving narratives. I think if we can
Exactly.
This is a
simply,
narrative and this is a fact. So
yeah,
if the
it's
narrative goes
important
out,
to
fact
drive.
doesn't go out, then that issue
If
happens.
we can do that better, then we'll have
Definitely we
succeeded.
In a very big way, in fact, actually. That's why most today industry is getting into media at the national level also. Just yeah. Anyway, thanks Rohan Bab. Thanks Aniruddha Bab.
Thank
Thanks
you.
Achanay Bab. Thanks Sanjay Bab. And thanks Kevika Bab. Thank you. And
Thank
this
you,
was
thank
very,
you.
very.
Thanks a lot.
It was interesting. Little bit off and things also like possibly which the people in power, and especially now with the budget coming up, elections coming up, can look at and possibly take forward to ensure that India and Goa go forward smoothly. Thank you, and keep watching Goa 365.